I'm legally insane, and you're watching bonus episode 1 of my 6.9 episode series of 69 Xbox 360 game prices that are going up. I completed the series, link in the description below for all those who are new to this series. I went through 69 games. Nobody thought I would do it. I did it. I started the series over a year ago before all the Xbox 360 hype because I told you the hype was coming. I knew the hype was coming because I'm a seasoned collector. I've been collecting since you were in diapers. In fact, I've been collecting since I was in diapers. I started collecting Ninja Turtle toys back in the day. Sealed Ninja Turtles from 1989, 1990. I sold most of them. I got one left. It's up on eBay as we speak. So back by popular demand, I am continuing the series and we're going all the way to 69 episodes in total. So this is bonus episode 1. We might even do 69 bonus episodes.
69.
So we will be covering just about every Xbox 360 game ever made by the time we are done, plus consistent updates on what's happening in the markets. So today, a lot of the games that I'm going to go over today were games that were part of the original 69 but had to be removed because the prices went up too high too fast. I could not complete the series quick enough. Took me over a year to finish the series as is. I don't exactly have unlimited free time. And some of the games I had to take out. And I had to bring in replacement games. So that 69 list, I was constantly shifting. I had to make a couple of shifts. And I'm bringing back the games that had to be taken out that were in the original list, plus a few new ones. So let's go ahead and get started. I've been collecting since I was in diapers, and I'm still wearing diapers today, and I'm still collecting to this very day. Now might be a good time to put your diapers on because I'm about to show you some real freaking gems today. And there's at least one in here that you probably didn't know about. You probably did not know about it because I ain't seen nobody else talk about it. Ain't nobody talking about it, and I brought it here for you today. Because guess what? This first game, bonus game number 1 for bonus episode number 1. Going to 69. 69 episodes. This game right here was the original number 69 from the original list. I replaced it, not because the price went up, even though the price did go up, and is still going to go up, and is still going up as we speak. It's going up right now, right this minute. The price just went up. It just went up another $2. Just right now, it's up $2. It's going to go up another 69 cents in a couple minutes. This was the original 69. I took it out and I put in DOA Extreme. So if you remember from episode 6.9, that I replaced this one. I was having a tug-of-war match on what should be number 69. And I made the right call. I made the right call by removing this game. But because it was removed, it never got a chance to make it on the original list. And you already know. You should already know based on the clues I just gave you. Rumble Roses XX. Rumble Roses XX. And you know this is CIB. You already know. Look at this. More than just a pretty face? Hell, you know what? Let's start with reading the back here, because I'm gonna make you blow your balls off right now. Okay, by the way, actually, let's rewind a little bit. This is the sequel to the original Rumble Roses on the PS2, and if you didn't notice, yes, that did say Konami in the corner. Okay, that's important because Konami makes good games. Back then, Konami was still predominantly a game developer, and they put a lot of time and effort into their games. They make money on casino machines nowadays. They don't really care about their gaming business anymore. They still make games or publish games, but not like they used to. The magic is mostly gone. They're just milking old IPs at this point. They're re-releasing the Castlevania compilations, etc. They're milking their glory days. But back then, they still made good games. This is the sequel to the PS2 version. And in case you didn't notice, this is also an Xbox 360 exclusive. You might want to take notes on that one. Do you have a pen and paper? You should. In fact, when you watch these videos, you should actually be taking notes. And I know at least one viewer, he does take notes. Episode 1, he left a comment and he said he's sitting there taking notes. He had a pen and paper the whole time. This game came out in 2006. We're talking Xbox 360 exclusive. Konami. Spin-off series from Dead or Alive. If you haven't noticed, just like, and that's what's interesting about it, just like Dead or Alive Extreme and DOA Extreme Volleyball for the OG Xbox, this is another spin-off series. Shockingly, they haven't made another one. This is the final version that they made. I'm not sure why, unless somebody knows out there some sort of Japanese exclusive or something like that. They stopped making this game, this series. I don't think it sold too well, which plays into the factor why the price is going up. In case you haven't already figured it out, it's not exactly a common game. It's quite a rare game. I've never seen it in the wild myself. Please comment below if you actually have seen this out in the wild. I haven't seen a single retro game store have this game. I've never seen a pawn shop have this game in my local area. Never once in my life. And I've seen it show up in the private auction groups that I'm in one time. And guess what? The one time it showed up, I bought it. And that was roughly, might have just been 6 months ago, to be honest with you. It was probably last summer, maybe a year ago at best. 1 year ago tops, I bought this game. Might have been as few as 6 months ago. It is backwards compatible with Xbox One and the Series X. That's a significant factor to also take note of. That may also play a role in why the price is going up and why the price may or may not continue to go up. So before we continue on, before we pull up the chart, in fact, let me just read the back of the box like I originally wanted to. New gameplay modes, tag matches, handicap matches. You can do 2-on-1, by the way. That's fun as hell. Try that with 3 or 4 players. So handicap matches, 3 and 4-way battles, street fight mode, Queen's match. I wish I knew what Queen's match was. Queen's match and more. Team dynamics are affected by each girl's attitude toward one another. And almost all of the girls have different team dynamics. Depending on who you team up with who, different things can happen. Different attitudes, things like that. Got the manual out. Here's all the matches here. 3-way royal, 4-way royal. That's a 3 to 4-way free-for-all. Battle royal. So we got street match, a 1-on-1 match on the street stage. The first one to win 2 out of 3 rounds by depleting the opponent's health becomes the winner. And Queen's match, 1 to 2 players for that one. Same with street fight. A match that takes place on the island resort stage where the girls are wearing sexy bikinis. I added that part in. They are wearing sexy bikinis though. In which the winner can force the loser to go through a penalty game. Like, come on, guys. This game's a 10 out of 10 by default. At least a 6.9 out of 10 at minimum. All right, so here's the chart. First thing you're going to notice, like all the previous games, it did have an initial major wave 1 move starting around what I can just about guarantee is December or January of 2020. Gonna have to take my shades off for this one. And a lot of people around this time that I mention in every video, the untrained morons would have told you, oh, this giant move was from COVID and the prices are going to come down. Okay, well, you got lucky a little bit, you little bastard, because the price did trend down a little bit here temporarily. Most of them don't have this ever so slight trend down. But the main point being, you were never, COVID or no COVID, you were never going to see $15 Rumble Roses ever again. And this chart is in US dollars, by the way. So I've got it under Canadian dollars, but this chart is USD. Down here is Canadian dollars. I will switch it and show you both. I'm Canadian, so I understand Canadian dollar numbers better. This is complete CIB. This is going for about $75 Canadian. Let me switch it over to USD to keep it simple for you USD folks. So it's worth about $54 on price charting, and price charting is still playing catch up as we speak. As you can see, last sale was April 27th. It is now May 3rd as I record this. So yes, we were downtrending ever so slightly for a short time. And we've since had what has now been dubbed by me, been coined as the Wave 2 move in the Xbox 360 prices that we have experienced and technically still are experiencing as these prices start to stabilize at at whatever number will become their new floor. They're now looking for what is the top and what is the new floor, the new stable pricing. What is the new price range? It was looking for a floor. As a matter of fact, it looks like it found a floor around that $35 level. May or may not include shipping, but just going on the chart, let's keep the math simple. It looks like it had bottomed out. So after making that rise up to about $42, $45, the market determined, okay, that's a little bit high, so it was just in a trading range. And now it's broken out of that range, and it's made an absolute parabolic move. We will need more time to find out what the new floor is going to be, but right now, I think it's safe to say you're not going to get this for under $50. CIB, good condition, perhaps ever again for the rest of your entire life, which also translates to, if you are looking for this game and you can get it around for that $50, perhaps $60 US dollar level, even $65, $69, dare I say it, USD, that might be a good price range to pick up a game like this. Do you think that a game like this, that's not very common, and that does make a great 4-player party game, and was made by a very well-known wrestling game development company that made many, if not a crap ton, if not all of the frickin' WWE games, modern era WWE games, they made a ton of them. It's developed by a company called Yuke's. Well, they're famous for making wrestling games, and they made this game. Konami enlisted them to make this game. So do you think a game like this that you can get for, let's just say, $55 today, do you think that a game like this could go to $69? Do you want to pay $69? Do you want to pay $69? Yes or no? If the answer is no, then you might want to pick it up today. Do you want to pay $100? Well, it's going to 100. I'm telling you that right now. And that doesn't mean it's going to 100 tomorrow. Put my shades back on. I'm about to friggin' yell at you, the viewer, right now. This game is going to $100. I guarantee you that right the frig now. 100 US dollars even. I'm not even talking Canadian dollars right now. That I can guarantee. Now, as to when it gets there, no one knows. Okay? Relax. Calm your tits down. Put your bra back on. Stop lactating. Just relax. Hell, it might even be a friggin' $100 by next week at the way the market's currently going. but the point being, even though we've had these massive Wave 2 parabolic moves recently, thanks to a lot of YouTubers talking, bigger YouTubers than me, buddy, trust me, I don't have that much sway on the market. I'll tell you that right now. I've seen it. I've seen what happens when million subscriber plus YouTubers talk about a hidden gem. Look up Phantom Dust. I bring it up every time. OG Xbox. That's what happened. But besides the marketplace closing down, ignore all that. This game was always going to go up. It was always going to $69. It was always going to go to $100. Always. Now here's the other thing about this game. Like many rare games, unknown games, this is a very unknown game. You gotta factor that into your equation. How unknown is this game? Nobody knows about this game. To this day, nobody knows about this friggin' game. And you also have to remember it got bad reviews. A lot of games back then that got ignored by the market, rare games and uncommon games that got ignored, they always have, most of the time they have one thing in common, and it's the fact that they got bad reviews. It's a common denominator here. Got 5 out of 10 from Eurogamer, 5.75 out of 10 from Game Informer, 5 out of 10 from IGN. Everybody knows IGN. 6.9 out of 10 by Game Chillers. Hey, that's not a bad review. That's basically a 7 out of 10, which is not bad and is realistic for this type of game. But by the way, let me just mention one other thing. Okay, the guys that made this game, the Yuke's developer that made this game, they are the same guys that made SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain on the PS2, which is said to be one of the best, if not the best, wrestling game ever made. They made WWE Day of Reckoning 1 and 2 for the GameCube. They made a crap ton of WWE SmackDown vs. Raw games. These guys make good games. And they put a lot of effort into this game. It's not a throwaway shovelware title. It could have been better. It's not a 10 out of 10. And it doesn't have real wrestlers in it. It's just got DOA girls with big boobs. That's what it's got. It's got sexy ladies in bikinis wrestling. But the wrestling ain't bad. And it's 4-player. Makes a good party game if you ask me. Let's check out the next game. Next on the list, bonus game number 2. We got ourselves Fatal Inertia. One of the rarest games on the entire console. If you don't know about this game, you've probably been living under a rock, because this game is blowing up. Everyone and their mother's now talking about this game. And the price went absolutely parabolic, which is why I had to take it off the original $69. It was originally supposed to be in the very last episode, and I was forced to take it off when I saw that it had a freaking parabolic move up. And we're talking one of the biggest parabolic moves in the history of retro video games. That right here, Fatal Inertia. CIB, I'll show you what CIB looks like, because unfortunately, many of you will not have the opportunity to own this game. This one right here has a special story to go with it. I'll tell you about that a little bit later on. I left that sticker on for a reason. The Fatal Inertia, developed and published by Koei. Koei makes a lot of rare games. That should be your first flag on why this is likely to go up in value even after the parabolic move that we just saw. Koei published and developed, released in 2007. This is a futuristic racing game similar to that of Wipeout. It's Koei's version of Wipeout. It's the poor man's Wipeout. It's not a 10 out of 10 game. Many rare games and expensive games are not 10 out of 10 games. That's why they're not AAA titles, and that's why they didn't sell 20 million copies. If it sold 20 million copies like Assassin's Creed, it wouldn't be sitting at the price it's sitting at right now, today. Let's pull up the chart and I'll show you. Guys, I hope you're wearing a diaper, because when I said the price went parabolic, I was not exaggerating. I don't exaggerate about this stuff. Okay? Went parabolic. But before we get into that, let's rewind a moment here. Let's rewind a moment. Because this, believe it or not, even though it doesn't say it is, it's an Xbox 360 exclusive. And before some retard in the comments says, that's not an exclusive, it's on the PS3 digital store. Okay, buddy, listen. We're talking physical games here. Physical only. Okay, we don't do digital here. This is only on the Xbox 360 console. Okay? Until you show me a physical version, then this is an exclusive. It doesn't need to say exclusive at the top. Okay, we're not talking PC or PS3 digital or any digital, as a matter of fact. In every single video, there's at least one guy in the comments, so I have to address that. Every video, I have to freaking say that. I'm not even kidding you. There's some guy every time. I'm not exaggerating. So, rarity and exclusivity for the 360 are games that collectors want, and they are must-have games in their collection. So even though we can see this parabolic move, I'm telling you right now, long-term, the price is going to keep going up. And what happens in the short term, nobody knows. This is going to find a floor somewhere. And that floor might be higher or lower. Okay, so we can see recent sold listings going for almost $200 US. I'm on US dollars right now. 180, 175, 160, 180, 180, two 180s in a row, $75. And prior to that, guess what? $19.99, $20. Let's switch over to Canadian dollars, because I bought my copy for $20, which means I'm on here somewhere. Where am I? I should be $19.99. 99. I must be this one right here. It's not showing the price properly. I paid $19.95. Pretty sure. Unless this was me down here. No, I didn't buy mine in January. I probably got mine in March, maybe? It was right before the move. I know that. The thing just exploded at it like overnight. It just happened overnight. Look, it was sitting at, one day it's $25, let's say, 30 on the high end. And then you wake up, it's $100. And then the next day, it's $250. $250, $250, $215, $240, $250, $250, $200. Well, maybe that is the new floor, to be honest with you. The floor might be about $200 Canadian dollars. But my point being, let's just say hypothetically it comes down to $100. And that's the new floor for a while. Well, it's going to go to 200, 300, 400 in the long term anyway. The short term moves don't mean much in the longer term picture. And a game this rare is never coming back down to $25 or even $50 ever again, strictly due to rarity. If the game was more common, if this was some other very common game like Wet, which is significantly more common, if Wet went to 200, I would say, yeah, that's probably going to come down like overnight. I'd say, maybe it'll come down to $100, 75, 50 even, perhaps. Unlikely, but perhaps. Because it's not as rare as a game like this. And like all rare games, this one got terrible reviews. What are we working with here? This is an anti-gravitating racer. Get weapons, like Wipeout. Not the best game, but it's not that bad either. Reviews, 6 out of 10 from Eurogamer. 7.5, which is the highest review from Game Informer. Surprisingly high, but that's not a bad review. That's still average, slightly above average perhaps. So one could argue that that's a fair review. Whereas PlayStation Official UK Magazine gave it a 3 out of 10 for the PlayStation version, and that was the new and improved version. So if the new and improved version's getting a 3 out of 10, the 360 version's got to be really freaking bad. GamePro gave it a 2.75 out of 5. GameSpot 6 out of 10. That's fair, perhaps. GameSpot 6 out of 10. Not good. These are, kind of bad. Not crazy bad, but not good either. IGN 6 out of 10. Solid 6.5 out of 10. If you're looking for a really good racer, you might want to pick up F-Zero. But a game like this isn't meant to be a AAA racing game made by Nintendo. This is a Koei game trying to make something unique, trying to make something new, trying to compete with Wipeout. Had this sold really well, maybe they would have carried on the series. You'd be looking at Fatal Inertia 2, 3, 4, 5 today. There are different types of vehicles in this game, each with strengths and weaknesses. You pick up weapons, you shoot them like Mario Kart. But just know it has a lot of flaws, okay? If you're interested, add it to your list. You don't need to panic buy it. Add it to the list. Wait and see what happens. But also be aware it's going up. It just is. There's no way around it. A game like this is going to, in the long term, it will continue to go up. Okay, next up we got another parabolic mover, guys. Dark for the Xbox 360. Another exclusive, even though it doesn't say exclusive. It's a PC game. Okay? On console, you're not going to find this anywhere else. In fact, I barely got this right before the parabolic move. As you can see, this particular copy is dirty and busted up in the corner. But at least I got it for like 10 or 15 bucks. I got a good deal on it. But had I known the price was going to go through the moon, actually, as a matter of fact, now that I think about it, when I bought that, there was probably one other copy for sale. That was like, there was probably one copy that was in really good condition. It was probably double the price. Meaning this game has been rare from the start. And this is another game like Fatal Inertia, by the way, that nobody knew about. Nobody on the planet knew about this game. Nobody was talking about this game. Except for the hardcore 360 fans. It just went under the radar. It's a low budget game. It's not a high budget game. Very low, as a matter of fact. But extremely low budget. So what kind of game is this? This is a stealth action game with RPG elements. Some would say it's a stealth RPG. Fantasy stealth RPG. How about that? That's what it is. It's very unique. You play as a vampire. Okay? It's the poor man's Metal Gear set in a fantasy world where you get vampire-like abilities that you would not get in a Metal Gear game. So they tried to do something unique with a very small budget, and they did a dang good job for what it is. So here's the chart, and I don't think that this has had time to catch up, so we're going to have to check the eBay sold listings. But this was a very much unknown game. As you can see, it barely had a COVID move, if it even had a COVID move. As a matter of fact, it didn't have one. Look at that. See, that's something very interesting to take note of. This game is so rare and so unknown and so not sought after. Like, nobody wanted this game. Nobody. That it didn't even get a bump up from COVID. This is like an Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty game that just stayed flat. Under 10 bucks Canadian. I'll switch over to USD for you guys. Oh, this is USD, this chart. Under 10 bucks USD. Basically, its entire lifespan. Wow. Okay, one bump up in 2013. $8 to 12. Went right back to its $10 range. And since then, it's had a breakout. I don't know if you could call this a wave 2 move. Wave 1, $8 to 12 bucks, maybe 8 to 10. I wouldn't even call that a wave 1 move, guys. I think this is wave 1. Its parabolic move breaking out is wave 1. So the highest number we can see on the chart is $15. It's price charting for 15. But it ain't $15 game no more, guys. You're never going to get it for 15 ever again for the rest of your entire life. Doesn't sell very often. We can go all the way back to November. Sitting in that $10, $15 range. What are we on? US dollars. $10, $15 range. 10, 15 bucks all day. 10, 15 bucks. All day. Ooh, creeping up. Okay, 20's becoming the new minimum. More 20s, more 25s creeping in. 25, 45. Let's check eBay. Okay, so this game is very special because it's so rare and it shares a name with many other games that also have the word dark in it. So even if you knew about it, you still couldn't find a copy. Because if you type in dark, you're going to get 10,000 copies of Darkness. So what I've done here, I'm searching sold listings. I've typed in Dark 2013 because the smart sellers and buyers know that you have to distinguish this game with the 2013, which is the year that it came out. So as you can see, the smart sellers have started to learn that because it's the only way you can find it. Sold listings going back into April, you're looking at 45, 60 US dollars. 50, 65 USD. Oh, that's a brand new copy. Dang, that's not bad. Disc only is going for 50 plus. Disc only. You know why this guy paid 50 plus for a disc only? US dollars. Because you can't get a copy. There's nothing on the market. There's nothing available. Here's a guy who paid $100 US dollars for this copy. You know why? Because he couldn't get one for any cheaper. The son of a bitch the day before, some son of a bitch bought it the day before because this idiot seller that posted it the day before didn't know that the price went up because price charting hasn't had time to catch up. So this chart here hasn't even had time to put in that $7,900 sale that we saw on the US dollar eBay.com sold listings. Switching over to Canadian dollars, yeah, see, it hasn't had time to punch that in yet either. But like I said before, it's not known to be a good game, but just know that it is unique. You do get special vampire abilities, teleportation, slow down time, turn invisible, and you do use blood points to cast these spells. So you don't have you can't just spam your abilities. You have what is equivalent to mana, and you can suck people's blood for more mana and more health. You are a vampire. Terrible reviews. We're talking 3 out of 10 from Eurogamer, 2 out of 10 from Game Informer, 4 out of 10 from IGN, 4.5 out of 10 from Xbox Official Magazine US. I do want to read one review here. Just remember, a lot of rare games, they're rare because they had low print runs. This game ain't have a high print run. Got terrible reviews, low print run, didn't sell very good. Here's a comment here. In the most negative review on the website, Andrew Rayner of Game Informer complained, quote, I've played a lot of bad 360 games for achievements, but hardly any are as unpolished and poorly executed as Dark. It's easily one of this generation's worst titles. Even when the stealth is working moderately well, the slow pacing is a killer, and no amount of blood sucking brings satisfaction. Most levels are completed through trial and error, failure after failure, and then success coming from exploiting an AI bug or the odd design decision. Well, that may or may not be true. But a lot of these games that got poor reviews, they go on later to get cult followings. They go on later, many years later, when the actual gamers start playing the game. None of these fake reviewers, quote, professional reviewers that don't know what they're talking about. A lot of the gamers, they go back and they start playing the games and they respect the games for what they are. They'll play it and they'll say, hey, this isn't as good as Metal Gear, no Gears of War, but I kind of like it. I like playing the vampire. I like the stealth vampire abilities. I like the mechanics. I'm having a fun time for what it is. I'm having a good time. I don't want to play Metal Gear. I don't want to play Assassin's Creed. I'm having a good time playing Dark. And a game this rare, similar to Fatal Inertia, any collector out there is also going to want this game. So long term, you got to ask yourself, is the price going to go up long term? Ignore the short term. Think about the long term. It's going to stabilize at some point. Maybe the new floor is going to be $50. Maybe the current floor is going to be 75 or 100. In the long term, you got to ask yourself, is it going to go to 150? Do I want to pay 100 today, $50 today, or $69 tomorrow, or 150 the day after that? Bonus game number 4. Another game that I had to take off the list, sadly. Infernal Hell's Vengeance. CIB, of course. And holy hell, let me tell you, this one went parabolic as well. You can't even get one anymore. Like, I go on Amazon, there's nothing available. 0 copies on Amazon. 0. Whereas 4 weeks ago, tons of copies on Amazon. Well, I mean, not like a ton, but, nobody was buying them. Nobody wanted the game. Nobody knew it existed. Oh, did I mention it's an exclusive? Even though it doesn't say exclusive on it. It's a console exclusive. You're not going to get it on your PS3. So you PS3 fanboys, you're missing a lot of games. I have a PS3 too. I love my PS3. But there's a lot of games on the 360 that you are missing out on if you don't have a 360. There's a reason I own both consoles. What is this game? It is a third-person shooter from 2007, ported to the 360 in 2009. What I personally love about this game, similar to Dark, I like fantasy games. Okay, I don't like most games that have no fantasy elements, if you like, or even sci-fi games like Halo. Yeah, I know Halo's a good game, especially 2-player co-op. Halo 2 all day, every day. All the 2-player co-op Halo games, yeah, they're good games. But they're sci-fi. I like my fantasy, my medieval stuff, my magic spells. I want to be vampire. Or in this case, I want to be a fallen angel with demonic abilities. Because he's now a fallen angel turned dark, and you get crazy, what I will call spells. Get some crazy demonic abilities. I don't want to just be shooting a gun. Let me shoot some fireballs. Let me cast some spells on you. Whatever spells you give me, just let me cast some friggin' spells, alright? That's why I like Bullet Witch. Great game. Let's look at the chart. As you can see, yet another absolutely parabolic move. We're on US dollars here. Hit a high of, like, overnight. Once again, this happened overnight. Those Amazon copies, they disappeared overnight. In fact, I forgot to mention, but when I ordered Fatal Inertia, I ordered a brand new copy for $135. The seller said he shipped it to me. 2 weeks later, he canceled it, refunded my money. He never shipped it. That son of a bitch held on to it to see what happened to the market, to see if the price would go up, and canceled the order because the price did go up. So this game here once again, I mean, look at that like non-COVID move. Just if you didn't even get a COVID move, which would have been wave 1, like a major move at least, you were very much unknown. But other than that, let's zoom in a little bit. Let's zoom in. This was a very nice trend, very nice looking chart. Actually, a beautiful looking chart. Slow and steady is what you want to see. Wow, like look at that. It's a straight line. And yeah, it's not a massive line. It's not like we've gone from $7 to $20 or $50. But we've gone from $7 December 2019. We were just creeping up every year, every month. 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents. We're just going up. We're going up. August 2023, $15. We're now over double. You could have paid $7. $15.50. Creeping up. Another 50 cents. Another 50 cents. Creeping up. $15. Looking for a floor around $15. But the trend was obviously continuing. We get to March 2024. Right to the moon. Overnight. Something happened. I don't know what happened. Like, I couldn't tell you. $1 million, 5 million subscriber YouTuber mentioned the game. I don't know. Somebody went in there, bought up all the copies. I don't know. In fact, let's switch over to Canadian dollars. I want to see what can we determine down here. We can go all the way back to February 27th. $15 all day. 16, 16, 20, 30, disc like new, 25. Yeah, nothing out of the normal. Nothing out of the ordinary here. $20, no manual. 25, good condition. 37, good condition. Okay, getting the end of March here. That's a pretty big jump. Not too many copies on the market anymore, I take it. $30, round up. $40. Now we're into April. Big jump up from 15. 16 to 40 within 1 month. That's over double. That's almost a triple. I mean, round up, it's a friggin' triple. $41, close enough. 15 to 45, that's a triple. $30 CIB, that guy didn't realize what was happening to the market. Some of these other guys underpriced. 20, 36, probably disc only. And that must have been the only copy left. Okay, here's what's interesting. You see, you gotta really have a keen eye. All of these sales happened on April 10th. Every single one. 1, 2, 3, 4. And considering they paid a premium, I'm going to tell you right now, I bet you that was every copy on the market. The game is so rare. 3 copies were on the market, and that was it. That was it. And these might have even been disc only. You couldn't get them. You couldn't get a copy anymore. That's why you got to get them cheap and early. When you find a game that you want and it's cheap, pick it up. Don't wait. I've been screaming that for over a year now, too, by the way. And a lot of you did pick up those games, and you saved yourself a lot of freaking money by actually listening. After that, it just shot up $200. It's that simple. 200 all day. Okay, it's dropped down a little bit. $100 down here. Pristine condition. I'd like to see what the sales are in May, though. But regardless, I mean, like I said before, it's going to find a floor. We don't know what the floor is going to be. Let's go back to USD pricing. So a lot of sales around 150 USD. Besides this guy's an outlier. He might not have known that the price is a lot higher. So let's kind of ignore him for now and assume that the floor might end up being around 125, 150. But long term, I mean, this is going to $200 anyway. Like, I don't care what it does in short term. I don't care if it comes down to 75. I know it's going to 150, 200, 250, 300. You don't think a game like this can go to 300? This is actually a pretty fun game. Even though it got bad reviews, this is one of the funner games. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna show you something right now. So let's go over the reviews first. Okay, reviews, we got Eurogamer 5 out of 10, Edge 3 out of 10, Game Informer 4 out of 10, IGN 5.1 out of 10, Game Pro 4.25 out of 10, GameSpot 5.9 out of 10. But here's the kicker. Most of the reviews stated that the game lacked polish and called it last generation compared to current third-person shooters at the time, such as Gears of War and Resident Evil 4. That is a direct quote. That's what reviewers were comparing it to at the time. They were saying that this game here, Infernal, was inferior to Gears of War and Resident Evil 4. That is going to play a role in the sales of this game and why this game is so rare and why this game, which is actually a really good game, is going to $300. Because comparing this game to Gears of War and Resident Evil 4 is not a comparison to begin with. What's the budget of Resident Evil 4? What was the budget on Gears of War? Okay. Now tell me what was the budget on Infernal Hell's Vengeance. I'm telling you right now, I don't even need to look up the numbers. I don't even need to know the numbers. The budget on this game is nowhere near the other two games listed. So to compare the two, to write this game off and say that this game is garbage, it is a 3 out of 10 from Edge, a 4 out of 10 from Game Informer. That is just blatantly inaccurate, completely false, not fair at all, and completely ignoring all of the fun mechanics of this game and completely ignoring all of the positive features of this game. So, and on that note, there were some reviewers that actually did fairly and justly review this game and actually gave it good scores and praised the game. Some reviewers praised the game for its superior graphics, so it's not last gen, has good graphics, it's a good looking 360 game. But more importantly, they called it mindless fun. That's what it is. It's not serious like Gears of War. Doesn't have a super serious story. It's meant to be fun. It was designed to be fun. Let's read the back. Yeah, while we're at it, let's read the back. Utilizes a range of modern weaponry, including explosives and gadgets, and engage in hand-to-hand combat with intelligent enemy AI. Exploit your supernatural powers, such as telekinesis, teleportation, and invisibility. Heal yourself by absorbing the mana of your fallen enemies. You can also have pyrotechnic powers. Surprised they don't mention that here. Dust particles, superior textures, realistic lighting, and advanced shaders deliver a realistic and contemporary environment. Well, that matches what was said about the graphics by the reviewers that actually got it. So a game like that, great game, fell under the radar, got outshined. A lot of these rare 360 games went under the radar because of that same reason. They were outshined, outsold marketing wise. Maybe, the marketing budgets of your Gears of War, your Resident Evil games just flooded the market, and gamers out there were unable to, find out about Infernal. They were being bombarded with advertisements and reviews and the video game magazines for these other games. As a matter of fact, I'll give you guys a history lesson right now. Part of the reason why Sonic sold so well for Sega is because they advertised the hell out of it. They went in with a huge monster budget. They knew that they had, one, a good game, and two, they knew they could not go skimpy. Leave no stone unturned when it came to advertising. They brought in celebrities. They had their own TV shows with celebrities. I won't get into that, but one of the big ones that they did, and they paid up big. They paid up big time. They got on the cover of some of the gaming magazines. 2 different gaming magazines back-to-back months. Let's just say it was like GamePro 1 month, and then the next game it was like Electronic Gaming Monthly or whatever it was. And they basically had to suck dick to get that cover, to get Sonic on the cover. Like, they did some shady business. I mean, they had to pay up. I mean, let's be honest here, guys. Like, and they had to get the timing right. But they had some of the best marketing. They had the best marketing team in the world in that early Sega Genesis days, believe it or not. They did a great job. But so what I'm saying is, imagine if you came out with a game similar to Sonic at the time of Sonic, and you didn't have the budget that Sega was pouring out with commercials after commercial after commercial promoting the console and the game. They got friggin' Saved by the Bell celebrities promoting the game. They got their own TV show with all the teen celebrities promoting your games, mainly Sonic. Like, imagine if you had a game that was just as good as Sonic. Well, your game wouldn't have sold either. And it would have been sitting in the discount bin for $10. Waiting for a day that it makes a parabolic move. Like this. This has been a very long video for only 4 games, but I feel like I had to bring up this information. This is good information. I didn't want to make the video short. I didn't want to cut you short. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to the channel. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you'd like to see more. Let me know if you want to see this series go all the way to 69 episodes, because I'll do it. You guys think I'm kidding around? I will frickin' do it. Also, just so you guys know, I do have a Patreon. I got 1 Patreon supporter. Shout out to Trevor. Thank you for being my very first Patreon supporter. I will be posting exclusive content. Nothing too fancy, but there will be exclusive content for the Patreon community. If you're interested, check it out. Link in the description below. And if you want me to talk about any specific games for future videos, I gotta get 69 episodes worth of content. Feel free to drop a name below, although I probably already have it on the list. I've already started a list of the next 50 games that I'm going to be discussing here on this show. You just completed bonus episode number 1 of 69 Xbox 360 game prices that are going up. And by the way, they all went up. Every single one. Every single game I mentioned, the price actually did go up. Went up way faster than I thought it would. I'll admit that part. I did not know that these parabolic moves were coming. I don't think anybody knew. I don't care who. If somebody told you, oh, I knew that Infernal was going to go from $20 to $200 overnight, I don't believe you. I do not believe it. Even if you said that, I still don't believe that you knew. I think you just pulled something out of your ass and you got lucky.